Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Prospect Central 101. My name is Chris, and today joining me we have,
Keelan.
Damn.
and we're going to be watching some Christian Darrisaw with you guys today. So Sam, I know that you're going to try and do some stuff while we finish this. So what do you know about Christian Darrisaw? I'll let you go first. Oh,
I
okay,
don't
well,
know much about him at all, really. Like, I'm not really big on offensive tackles. I can, like, obviously, I'll watch them and grade them when I get around to them, but I'm not like a big, I know a lot about Panay Sewell or I know a lot about Christian Darrisaw or Rashawn Slater. I don't know. I'm excited to watch them because I've heard really good things, but I don't know really anything.
cool. So I'll let you go do what you have to do for a few minutes. And while we wait for that, Keelan, I'll let you give your thoughts on what you've seen and heard about Darrisaw.
I haven't watched or heard too much about him. From what I hear, he's a pretty powerful uh, left tackle. He's getting a lot of top 15 hype, which is interesting. He appears to be a really good left tackle, possibly one of the better ones.
Yes, I'm on TDN right now, and they have him as their number 9 overall player in terms of their rankings, which is actually pretty high. He's a left tackle from Virginia Tech. I don't think I said that at the very beginning. He's listed unofficially at 6'5", 314 pounds, so pretty good size for a left tackle as well. Started as a true freshman, apparently, which is interesting. Sounds like he's more of a zone guy. To add functional strength. Improved a lot technically. Has the upside to become a franchise left tackle in his own run scheme. So it definitely sounds like he's going to be one of the more athletic left tackles that we're going to be watching this year, more so than a power, strong strength guy. So that should be pretty interesting to see how that ends up looking like. But yeah, so we have a few games to watch with you guys today. Don't know if we're going to do 2 or 3, but we have Boston College as one and North Carolina as another one. So we'll be going through both of those, and then if we feel like we need to watch our third game here, we have either Pittsburgh or NC State as well. So with that being said, are you ready to go, Keelan?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm also ready.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Left tackle number 77. Okay. Okay. Nice job cutting out the angle. Great combo block. And like how he works his guy inside at the end of this to open up the outside lane. Okay. Interesting. Blocking alignment there. Oh, nice cut block. Okay. Very well executed. Nice shove climbing up to second level, and again using that angle to seal that block off. Nicely done there as well. Okay, so you can tell he does, I don't want to say lack, but he's not exactly ideal in terms of the strength and power. You're going to see him get moved back quite a bit here, and you kind of can see because he's losing with the power. He does kind of make up for it at the end, but he's not exactly the greatest of, in terms of the power blocking role. He's definitely understand why TDN had him as his own fit. A single block. Yeah, and you really get to see the feel for space that he has. He's relatively solid in that space, which is something that it seems like a lot of these guys this year in particular have really struggled to do. Nice job getting up to second level. Nice single block. Yeah, definitely really like him in zone for sure. Doing a really nice job of angling his guy out of the play.
I like that he's showcasing his athleticism there.
Another fantastic angle block, and it really opens up this lane behind him. Because he's actually a really nice drive to move his guy out of the way, and it frees up just enough space for the running back to slide in behind him.
No, I was going to say I really like the motor too. The running back is 3 yards passing through that hole, and he is still pushing him backwards.
Yep. He's really extremely athletic, which I must have gotten him confused with another guy because I thought I heard that he was more power than athletics. Oh my.
All the way downfield for the touchdown. Touchdown offensive tackle.
Amazing.
Oh, that's nice. Good recovery. Nice.
I don't want to, I guess, I'm not going to do my grading here yet, but right now he's looking like possibly the top tackle in the draft.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, being nitpicky here, one thing I would like to see him do a little bit better is find work. As in, okay, he passes this guy off, attack the linebacker, or double team 8, or double team this guy, instead of just casually watching and then eventually getting up to second level. I'd like to see him be a little bit more active at the line of scrimmage. Like that play he was, at least initially. Okay, probably about as good as he could get there. Nice, and great angle, beautiful.
He might have the best technique of any tackle. Well, I guess I've only watched Penei Sewell as well, but I think he has better technique than Sewell does.
You're a little quiet, Sam. Can you repeat that?
Is this a little better?
Not really.
No.
What about now?
Still not really.
Now?
Not really.
Am I better now?
Not really.
No.
Oh, dear. Better now at all?
Not really.
Oh dear. I'll leave and come back.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, what he said is he thinks he has the best technique in this class.
That is exactly what I said.
You're a little bit better.
But still quiet.
Better at all right now?
Now you're
Yes.
getting better.
Okay. I was just gonna say
There you go.
I've only
Now
watched
you're
Panay
good.
Sewell, but he probably has the best technique. He has better technique than Sewell. He might have the best technique of any tackle in this class.
Cool. Yeah, now you're good.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. I definitely, yeah. I think what you're getting out of Sewell is physical tools, and what you're getting out of Darrisaw is technical tools, I guess. I don't know if that's the correct phrasing, but Darrisaw is a lot more, I guess I want to say pro ready.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Darrisaw is more day one. Sewell's more upside.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
That's amazing.
And then he gets the seal. Oh, yes. Let's go.
You don't see that all that often out of a left tackle, so that's really nice to see.
And then the very next play after running the pull, watch the me streak here. Boom! He just gets so aggressive and physical. Oh, love to see that balance. Watch the running back.
That's a DeAndre Swift type beat.
No, DeAndre Swift catches that.
Not this year.
Every year.
Yeah, why don't you ask the Bears that question?
Right?
Nice. And even on plays where he doesn't exactly, quote, win his rep, he's still not exactly losing this play. Like, I mean, he's not, like, getting real good drive. He's not, like, knocking his guy back. He's not really displacing his guy from the play. But he's not exactly losing the rep either. And he finds a way to angle his guy out, which allows for that lane to still remain open. Nice. That was a good second block. Okay. Nice. Good job of maintaining positioning without committing the hold.
Yep.
Obviously, Virginia Tech's blocking scheme is not always ideal for him. If someone is not exactly making the right protection calls. Nice. Active hands, good footwork, all those types of things as well. We don't really get the chance to talk about. But at the same time, you're really getting to see him really have the awareness and the IQ as a run blocker to know where the rush lanes are going to be, know what play they're running, know where he's supposed to be blocking, knowing where his guy is supposed to be, and maximizing that space to give his running back the best possible rush lane. So, yeah, he's a fantastic zone blocker, for sure. And honestly, I even like him in power scheme, too, because he doesn't necessarily have the strength that you necessarily expect, but he has the ability to, in a power scheme, in a man scheme, take on his man and still affect the defender that he is responsible for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
He
he's
reminds
not necessarily reliant on his athleticism like a zone blocking tackle typically is thought to be. He can
Yeah.
still take away his defender using technical elements as well. So I like him as a fit in both man and zone blocking schemes at this point.
Right. He reminds me a lot of Jake Matthews of the Atlanta Falcons.
Interesting.
I think they're both fairly similar players, primarily obviously used in a zone scheme, but I think they both have that type of versatility. They're both pretty athletic, but very, very technically sound, which is probably Darrisaw's best trait. He just the hand fighting there was absolutely beautiful on that play.
Nice anchor.
He gets a bit pushed back, but he keeps his balance and he takes the guy out of the play. I don't like comparing prospects all that much, but that's one thing that we saw out of Sewell, that his balance wasn't there. So it was really nice to see that from Darrisaw. Nice.
And the other thing that's standing out to me so far too against Boston College in this particular game is he seems really, really consistent.
Yeah.
Like he's doing the same things over and over and over again, really showing that that's exactly what he really is and what he can do.
Yeah, and one thing I've also noticed is he's not too overly aggressive, right? He's not too conservative, but he's not going to go over aggressive and get beat like that. He's going to stay patient. He's going to stay with his guy, and if his guy makes one move, he's going to counter that and beat him. So that's a big plus in my opinion.
Sam?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I was not able to watch the entire.
Oh, you cut out again.
You're very quiet again.
Am I quiet now?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh dear.
You were fine for a second.
I don't know why that happens. Better, worse? No.
A little bit
Same.
better, but not really.
Dear, oh dear.
Eh.
Better?
No.
Crud.
A
There
little
you go.
better.
Oh, better?
A little bit.
Is it better enough where I could speak a couple sentences and?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not all that great at evaluating O-line in the first place, and I wasn't able to watch that entire clip because I was busy. Watch some of it. I think he's very, very good. Like, I don't know what else. Like, he doesn't get pushed back much. He's got very good balance. Good athlete in space. Great athlete in space. Strong, big. He's disciplined. Like, he's the most disciplined. For sure. So I would say he's most day one ready. I really like him, but again, I'm not the go-to guy for O-line. So.
I'll go back to I kind of ended that off with my thoughts, but I'll go to say a couple other things. The thing I've noticed, he's obviously extremely athletic, but he's still strong enough, and he has the ability to be extremely scheme versatile. I love his balance. He's an awesome blocker in space, and honestly, as it stands right now, I'm going to have him rated as my top-ranked offensive lineman. So I think he's awesome.
Yeah, and I think for me, we're kind of seeing how this offensive line draft compares to last year's. And I feel like Penny Sewell is kind of the Tristan Wirfs of this class. And I'm kind of getting the vibe that Darrisaw is the Jedrick Wills.
Interesting, yeah.
And both of these guys are guys who are going to be able to, well, honestly, even Andrew Thomas, who was my number one offensive tackle last year, might even be a little bit of a better comparison. Especially the second half of the year when the Giants' offensive line kind of completely flipped head over heels.
Yeah,
And
they fired their coach.
After they fired their coach and they hired DeGuglielmo, who is a very good offensive line coach, by the way. I really do think that he's. I guess Andrew Thomas is probably a better comparison than Wills even, because Wills had a little bit more right to left versatility.
Yeah.
And I think Darrisaw is. I love Darrisaw off tackle. I don't see any reason why I would take him more than the right.
Yep.
And Mekhi Becton was also pretty good last year as well. I was a little bit lower on him than most other people were, because again, for the same reasons I'm lower on Michigan people, I see a lot more Louisville tape than everyone else does. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this offensive line class in general at the top competes with the class of last year's guys. Because for the longest time, like I would say the last decade or so, a lot of the higher rated offensive line prospects are guys who hadn't really panned out or hadn't really developed as expected. I mean, you look at guys like Jokel, you look at guys like Eric Fisher, who's fine, but and really wouldn't necessarily take him number one overall, and redo.
Right.
And Cam Robinson, all these guys. There was another Alabama offensive tackle too that went really high.
Yeah, that was the number 2 pick a few years back.
Yep.
I can't remember what his name is. I'll look him up.
And then Andre Smith was another one that went really high. There was a guy who went number 2 I think that might have been Andre Smith actually. That went number 2 in the Stafford class. And just in general, there have been a lot of offensive linemen that have gone top 5, top 10. And last year was the first year, and Eric Flowers is another one if you want to go top 10. There have been a lot of offensive line talent, and Chance Warmack if you're even looking at guards. There's been a lot of offensive line talent that's gone top 10 that really hasn't been worth a top 10 pick. And last year was the first year where we really saw, okay, there's 4 offensive line players here that are worth, at least according to NFL teams, top 15 caliber picks. And then last year, all 4 of them, Becton, Wills, Wirfs, and Thomas, all at least at some point in the season showed that they are probably going to end up being worth top 15 picks. So we're finally starting to get to that point again where offensive line talent is really starting to come back. I think, hope, maybe we're getting to that point. Or maybe offensive line talent evaluation is just getting better, which would also be ideal. And we're really starting to kind of see this next wave of offensive line talent come through. Hopefully this class can kind of build and continue to grow off of that, and we see even more resurgence of offensive line talent. And Darrisaw looks like he could be, based off the first game, a very big piece of that puzzle too, moving forward. As well as guys like Sewell. I've heard pretty good things about Cosme. There's another...
Slater.
Yep, Slater was really good as well. I'm pretty sure there's another Alabama offensive tackle this year.
Leatherwood.
Yep, Alex Leatherwood is pretty good. I've heard good things about Eichenberg and Mayfield, possibly as well.
Tevin Jenkins.
So, there's the North Dakota State kid, Rackens.
There's a solid 10 to 12 offensive tackle that could potentially be top 3 round grades or even top 2 round grades. So this is an extremely stacked class. So I'm really looking forward to watching some of the guys even later than guys like Sewell, Slater, and Darrisaw.
And there was one other thing I saw on Twitter. I forgot who it was from. But they did a top, I think it was 350 grades. And Trey Smith was top 5.
Interesting.
So there are some people that are really high on him too, and I remember even a couple of years ago he was one of the higher thought. I think it was the number 1 rated recruiter or something.
Something like that for offensive linemen at least, yeah.
So there's some people that are really high on his physical tools as well. So there's a lot to like about the potential, but also the ability to contribute day one from this offensive line class that we really haven't seen. So hopefully, especially hopefully for the Lions' sake, as a team that doesn't really need offensive line help, this is a year where the offensive linemen are really going to shine and come through and teams will be able to find whether it be their franchise left tackle or right tackle, or maybe even potentially slide some of these guys inside and find some interior guys.
And even the interior class seems pretty good. I don't think there's any real top 15 picks, but there's some late first and a bunch of second and third round picks. So this entire offensive line class is pretty stacked.
Yep. So yeah, with that being said, Sam, are you ready to go with game 2?
Yes.
Cool. You're still a little quiet, by the way.
I've given up trying to fix it. I don't know how to fix it.
You're getting kind of better.
I would generally suggest speaking louder or moving your microphone closer.
Thank you, Keelan.
Anytime, happy to help.
What would I do without you?
It almost feels like you set like your mic down on a table, or like the device that you're speaking through.
I mean that's what I did.
Now
But my
you're
computer
good.
Maybe I was just talking too quiet. I don't know.
Now you're good. Whatever you did just now, you fixed it.
Okay, I didn't do anything, so it's weird.
Also, by the way, worth noting, North Carolina, in terms of quality of competition, not too sure how good their defense was. I'm pretty sure it was pretty good, though. They were a top 10 team for a while this year. So, pretty high quality of comp here, too. Not like we're watching them go against lower level group of 5 guys.
Oh, yeah. Lord.
Nice. Great angle blocking.
Beautiful angle.
Jeez, dude.
Unlike the last one, I feel like we're going to be a lot closer.
Yeah.
On our grades this time.
I feel like everyone will kind of be in agreement that he's quite good.
Oh, for sure. He's probably going to be a top prospect for me.
Chris, I have a question.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not great with O-line, so I'm obviously not going to be great at comparisons, but I'm just trying to like think of good left tackles. How does Laramie Tunsil compare to Darrisaw?
Interesting. Okay, that's probably actually better than the one that I was had in mind. So I may end up stealing that at the end. But I think that the biggest difference is that Darrisaw is more mentally disciplined. With Tunsil, you have the penalty issue. I don't know if that got better or worse this year.
And smoking through a gas mask.
It's been better since he's been in Houston.
Okay, yeah, I know that when he was with Miami, he was, I think, the most penalized left tackle in the league.
Yeah, he was. I know for sure he's been better than he was in Miami in terms of discipline. But.
So I would say the biggest difference is more so like, okay, you're seeing like the hand placement elements. He's knowing a little bit more when to release to avoid some of those penalties. So kind of like those more really, really advanced elements are going to be a little bit more polished with Darrisaw. But in terms of upside and physical traits and potential, they're very similar.
I'm sticking for now with my Matthews comparison. I'm curious to what the one you had in mind was, Chris.
I'll go over it at the end.
Okay, of course.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh, Chris, just a side comment back to Tunsil.
Huh?
From a tweet I see from October 12th, 2020, through 5 weeks, Tunsil had the top pass blocking grade for PFF and only committed 1 penalty through 5 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's a lot better this year. That's good to know. The other thing that makes Tunsil very hard to kind of, and this goes for the entire Houston O-line, is Deshaun Watson holds the ball literally forever.
Yeah, he does.
Like, the dude takes so long to throw. I think the only one that had a longer time to throw than him this year was Kirk Cousins.
Kirky.
And it makes it very difficult to kind of really truly evaluate some of those offensive lines when the quarterbacks hold the ball for 3+ seconds.
Now, can we also use that same logic to say, okay, maybe Tristan Wirfs isn't as dominant as we think because Brady is known for getting rid of the ball super quickly?
In a way, yeah. But that's when the run blocking side comes into play, and the difference that we've seen with guys like Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette this year, compared to what we saw before, very improved with Wirfs there. So that kind of element comes into play with him too. Okay, goal line. So this is going to be a power situation. Or not.
Yeah, Chris, you don't know anything. Stop.
Sorry, I completely missed that. I was speaking to someone. What did you say?
I said that it was a goal line play, like they were inside the 5, so it should have been a power blocking situation, and then he goes down to literally block nobody.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Christian.
No, he actually did his job on this play, I think. He's responsible for the edge.
I was talking about the goal line play.
Oh.
Stop living in the past. No, I'm just kidding. But he's very, very. He's a really extremely good anchor, and it's a good job reading that play.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Keelan?
I said it.
You just said it.
Not about this play, about the other play, before you cut off.
I cut off?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I wasn't going to say anything about any play before. I was talking about the good job reading the play, and he is an extremely elite anchor.
Oh, you said something about his anchor. I thought you were going to continue that.
I did after that, but I guess you missed that.
Yeah, I heard you say he has a good anchor. Oh, and then he was good play.
I see.
So, yeah. That's why I paused it here. Is you really got to feel for his vision and his awareness and his football IQ. And we talked about that a little bit in the first game, too. But very, very solid keys. Now, that play was... Oh, that's a screen. Never mind. It's pulled. Great job.
Wow.
And the finish. Watch the finish.
That was nasty.
And then the finish at the end.
Mwah. Nice anchor.
Snap Iowa tight beat.
Okay. Nice power blocking. There's the short yardage you wanted to see. At me.
Like I'm looking at this dude and I'm like, oh yeah, he's a really, really good power blocker. So I mean that's probably what you're gonna use him for. And then you look at him in a drop back situation on 3rd and long, and he handles his edge rusher completely perfectly.
And yeah, he has the tools both mentally and physically to translate in both man and zone sets. You see him identify the player that he's responsible for in zone blocking. You see him have the potential to pull. You see him have the potential to slide and kick. You see him have the potential to drive. And I would say drive blocking is probably the thing that we've seen the least amount of so far. So that's probably going to be my biggest weakness for him. Is that was really the first time that we really see him really pancake and finish the block all the way through. But he's just so refined that it doesn't even really matter because he's taking his guy out of the play.
Yep.
And he's shown the capacity to have that mean streak and that physicality. That was a nice block by tight end. They're just playing very physical football. It's really nice to see. If the Lions did not sign Taylor Decker to an extension, he would probably be number one on my board outside of quarterbacks.
He's gonna be really high on my offensive board, as an individual prospect, regardless of team need. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up probably as my number 3 prospect behind Lawrence and Smith.
Nice. And again,
Dude is great. Like, this dude is just crazy.
Yep.
Oh my lord.
This is about as much fun as I've had watching offensive line tape in
I did not
very
expect
long time.
this engaged and I'm ready for the next block.
The edge rusher had a nice counter move on him, but I'm really happy with how he responds to counter moves.
That was probably the very first time that he has whipped in the 3 halves of football that we watched, the 6 quarters of football that we watched.
Yeah.
That I literally can count on one hand the amount of blocks that he has not made, and that is number 1.
He missed that, but when he whiffed on the original part, but when he countered, he still got back to him and made the block, so I'm not upset at it the slightest.
Jeez, did he catch that? No. Close though. Okay. About as good as you're able to do on a particular play. That was just dysfunctional. Nice.
Wow.
Great job of staying engaged. And there's another power block. Very nice. Props to Virginia Tech. I know that I called out their protection adjustments earlier. Their slides are not exactly the greatest, but their play calling and their ability to use him in a variety of blocking situations is very nice to see. They're using him in power. They're using him in zone. They've used him in chips with tight ends. They're using him in doubles with guards. They're using him in combos at second level. They're using him in this particular situation. They have a fullback behind him. They're using him. They've used him in cut blocks at least once or twice now. They're doing everything with him and really showcasing his full skill set in a variety of ways, which is really, really nice to see. It makes him a very easy eval. So proud to Virginia Tech for doing a great job of fully displaying his skill set. Really helping him showcase his full talent. If I'm an offensive line recruit right now, I don't know who their offensive coordinator is, or their head coach over their play caller even offensive line coaches. But this is a team that I would want to go play for if I were an offensive line senior in high school.
Well, yeah, if you're not good enough to be Alabama or Clemson or Ohio State for sure, or Notre Dame.
Oh yeah,
but if you're
Notre Dame's probably up there too.
Same with Alabama. I think those are the top 2.
Nice catch. Okay, shoving inside. Nice. Great pull. Nice. Oh, let's go. Beautiful. So what I like about this is he finishes all three phases of the play. You get to see, I talk about this with every position. It's a lot harder to talk about with offensive linemen because it's very rare that this happens. But he actively completes and dominates all three phases of the play, from start to intermediate to the middle of the play to the finish. You really get to see him win all three phases of the play. First, you get to see him take away the immediate threat with the identification process. Okay. The second phase is you get to see him win the first block by opening the lane and helping open the lane. Okay. And then the third phase of the play, you get to see him finish. And then that's right there. He finishes. Just excellent job of identifying the play in the first phase, getting the opening the lane in the second phase, and then finishing the play in the third phase. Very, very well executed 3-phase complete play.
Not only did he kill that dude, he dug a grave. Absolutely ridiculous.
And the other thing that we don't really talk about a whole heck of a lot too is it's a lot harder to block when you have a mobile quarterback, because you don't necessarily know where he's going to be in the pocket. And he doesn't really seem to have that issue. He's kind of just taking his guy out of the play and knows what he's supposed to do and trusts his quarterback and, more importantly, his running back and run blocking to do their jobs and find the lanes and be where they need to go to make that play successful. So he's doing a really nice job with the communication elements, with the positioning elements, with the alignment elements, and all that stuff. The biggest issue has been really with their slides. And this is an example of that, right? Like, this play is not on him at all. But the problem is that they leave the guy free because they're using the pull with the tight end, the motion. So just by the nature of the play call, you're leaving that guy on the end open, and it leads to him pushing inside sometimes, or in some cases the opposite problem where he's responsible for the end, and then someone is able to blitz inside because he's responsible for pushing the end out. So the biggest issues aren't even really his problems. It's more so just the issue with the identification, whether it be from the center or the quarterback, of identifying where the blocking protection is supposed to be at. Like on this play.
Sam's internet went out, so hopefully he'll be back in a minute.
Cool. Like, this play is another perfect example of this, right? Like, he's responsible for taking away the defensive tackle here. Or actually, no, he's not. It's the other way around. He's responsible for taking away the linebacker on this play, the outside linebacker. Okay. So what he does is he takes on the linebacker, but they don't account for the nickel blitz. Right? So the running back has to account for the nickel defender blitzing, and the running back isn't able to get up there by the time that he gets this ball out. Because it's a quick pass. It's a hitch.
Yeah.
So while you can say, okay, maybe he could have, because 74 is also on that guy, maybe he could have slid out to take the nickel or climbed up to second level, that's not exactly on him. That's on the protection call-out. That's a pre-snap read issue with whoever the center or the quarterback is that's calling out protection. Oh yeah, it's easy. Easy played single high. Okay, nice. Terrible decision. By the quarterback, not the offensive line. There you go, again, right? A very, very well executed 3-phase play. You get the identification of identifying the linebacker here after seeing that the edge guy was blocked. Readjustment mid-play. You see him win the block phase, the second phase here. And then you get to see the finish to take him out of the play. A complete three-phase play from start to finish. It's very well executed. Nice. Very active throughout the course of the play. Very nice motor. Haven't really gotten a chance to talk a lot about his mental traits, but that was...
He's a very high IQ player.
Yep.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, the running back whiffed because he's trying to push him inside.
Yeah.
And then what he doesn't realize is that the guard is being taken outside, the center is being doubled, and the running back is too far away. Nice drive. Oh, nice. 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 So, Keelan, your thoughts? I don't know if Sam's back yet.
Sam is not back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I've gone over quite a lot, I think. But I think his anchor is fantastic. He's been very consistent, so I'm not even sure it's necessary to even watch the third game because he's been so consistent.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. I just want to wait for Sam and make sure we get him back.
Yeah.
So I might just put it on while we talk about our stuff while we wait for Sam. Assuming he is actually coming back.
Yeah, I'll ask him. But yeah, go ahead and I'll continue. You can talk about what you think, and then I'll come back once I ask Sam.
Cool. So yeah, definitely a complete player who can fill a variety of holes with a variety of different teams. And like we talked about in the Holland video with Sam, where like he kind of felt pigeonholed into a specific role or assignment, or no, not necessarily assignment, alignment, and it's kind of avoiding that square peg round hole theory as a part of his profile.
Yeah.
With Darrisaw, you don't really get that. He's someone who can play in a power scheme or in a man scheme. He can play in his own scheme. He can play as he can dominate as a run blocker, dominate as a pass blocker. You see him open up holes, identify. You see him really do every single thing. It looks like Sam's not coming back, unfortunately.
Sad.
So we are going to end up being finished with this one. But yeah, I really, really do like every element of his game. The biggest weakness for me is going to probably be his strength. Because we didn't really get to see him do a whole lot of try blocking compared to some of the other offensive tackles in the class. So I'm just going to say that's probably his biggest weakness. And being 315 is a part of that too. He's just naturally more focused on being his own blocker in their scheme. But yeah, like if you get him to bulk up, probably 5 or 10 pounds of muscle mass. That's not
Mhm.
really going to be an issue for him at all. Biggest strength
just on
is, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, currently my sheet is not updated through offensive linemen, so I'm just gonna be reading off what I think um, based on your criteria when we do our grading. So I'm not gonna actually be adding it to my sheet right this second.
Nice. So biggest strength for me is he's a complete player. Very balanced. Can do it all.
Yep.
Everything else like that. Role grade is franchise left tackle for sure. Concerns grade, I don't really have any concerns with him. He's not a Lions target though. So I'm going to go with none. Player comparison for me is very easily Ronnie Stanley.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's a good comp for him. I was thinking Jake Matthews from the start, but
I like him a lot
Stanley's
more
a
than
good
I
one.
do Jake Matthews. Ronnie Stanley is my number 1 offensive tackle in the league at the moment. I haven't officially updated my offensive line rankings, but he's the guy who, going into the year before the injury, I had as my offensive tackle 1 in the NFL, and I see that kind of upside with him to be that kind of top 5 offensive lineman in the league.
Yep.
So high floor, high ceiling. Very much know what you're getting. 10% bust rate. And that's really just an injury precaution thing. I honestly could probably even feel comfortable saying 5.
Yeah, but there's always a chance that he, has a horrific injury or he gets arrested or whatever and is out of the league. But strictly based on talent, I don't think he's gonna bust. I think at the very worst he's gonna be a average starting tackle, and that's just his floor if he stays healthy and out of trouble.
So this is going to be fairly easy for me at this point. Pass blocking, 20.
Yep.
I'll go 24. I feel like that's pretty safe.
I think I would give him a 25 in pass block, but it's tough. Yeah.
And then run block
24,
is
I guess,
go to 25.
Yeah. I guess 24 is fair because he's not absolutely pushing people out of the way, but he's doing his job and he's still making lots of room. So I guess 24 is fair. 25 is also a fair.
23 there. There's 6.8.
Assuming you have the same for athleticism, I agree completely with your grade. Oh,
I don't want to go if I want 23 or 20. I'll go 24, I think.
Yep.
That's
exactly where I was going.
So that's going to end up being a minus 1, 2, 3, 4, which is a 96.
Yep. Right where I'll have them.
Which is an A, and a 6.9, I believe. Which means I somehow messed up the Slater one, or he's actually higher than that. And then my 1 sentence summary is just basically going to be complete player with limited flaws. I'm going to end up having to do that on my iPad because my computer is glitching. Any other final thoughts, Keelan?
No, I'm just really high on him. I wasn't expecting him to be my number 1 tackle and potentially my number 2 offensive player behind Lawrence. That's not what I was expecting going into this, so I was extremely pleasantly surprised. But he is an absolutely fantastic in all phases of his game. So I'm really excited to see where he goes because I think he's going to be a fit for all 32 teams. And whoever drafts him,
all of them that need offensive linemen.
Well, obviously,
because I wouldn't take him if I'm sure it's 7. But
no, what I mean is he'd be a fit for every team scheme,
right?
And I think he can slot in there. And if you need a left tackle, you can take him top 5 if you need a left tackle, and he'll be your starter for the next 10, 15 years, hopefully.
Yeah, so he has Andrew Thomas syndrome at this point for me. Just don't really overthink him. Because, like, there was some talk last year about, oh my god, Andrew Thomas is like a pure power guy, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like Darrisaw is going to kind of fall into that trap this year with his own side. And, oh my god, he's only his own blocker, blah, blah, blah. Ryan Stanley played at Notre Dame, and he translated just fine to Baltimore. So I really don't see Darrisaw having the same issues. Well, any issues, really, in terms of translation. He is very, very good. If you need a left tackle, he should be very, very high on your board. Possibly trade up territory for teams that need a left tackle that badly. He's a guy, if I'm Miami, I very strongly consider him at 3. Like, legitimately over Penny Sewell for me. And I would very strongly consider, if I'm Atlanta, maybe, I don't know where Matthews' contract or situation or age or injury history is like. If I'm Atlanta on your left tackle, I would strongly consider that. Who's picking number 5 this year?
No, I don't know. Bengals.
Yeah, if I'm the Bengals, he's probably number 1 on my board. If I am the Jets, I strongly consider him at 2. And then 6 is
Panthers?
Panthers
No.
are 8. They're after us.
Oh, shit. Who's picking 6?
It's one of 6
let
teams
me
worse
check.
than the Lions. I feel like I should know this.
The 6th pick is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
They need a left tackle, but it's not their biggest need.
Yeah, I feel like comfortable that they would stick with Dillard, so maybe not Philly. But yeah, if I'm one of those other teams, specifically Cincinnati, I would very, very strongly consider taking Darrisaw top 5. No doubt. I feel very, very confident in saying that he has a franchise left tackle, barring injury or some kind of, to us, unknown character potential issue. He is a guy I feel on the field. You plug and play. It's very simple. So, anything else to add, Keelan?
No, I don't know. I think we've said it all. He's extremely fantastic, and I can't wait to see how he plays in the NFL, because he's going to be a fantastic left tackle for years and years.
Nice. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Learned a thing or two along the way. Had as much fun as this what we did. Hopefully the video didn't glitch too bad. It didn't look like it started to act up until I got to the grade screen. But anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and peace out.